Your manager stops you after a meeting and says, "Can we have a quick chat?" What happens afterwards? Your mind starts to run thinking about all these negative things that may happen. For example, he may criticize your work, he may not be happy with something that you've said. Your shoulders tighten, your breathing starts to become faster, and your mind starts to prepare you for a difficult conversation, one that hasn't even happened yet. That gap between the trigger and the eventual response or reaction is what I want to cover in this video. By the end of this video, you'll understand why this reaction happens and what you can do about it to help you to respond rather than react, and help you to choose your response. There's a sequence that happens when you react to certain things that happen, and the sequence goes like this: an event, an interpretation, an emotion, and a reaction. So an event would be something like your manager says something that may be a bit offish, or something that may be interpreted as some negative in regards to your work or something that you've done. For example, it could be like in a meeting where he may pass a short comment, or he may send a short email, for example. Now, what follows is an interpretation. So that interpretation is what our minds basically fill in the gap as to, he's done this or he's said this because of this reason. And I'll touch upon this later, but our mind basically quickly jumps to conclusions and then takes that as reality. Now, that's an interpretation, and then we have the emotion that happens. Now, that emotion may be frustration, embarrassment, anger, these types of things. And then because of that frustration, then our mind then feels that we need to basically act on that emotion, and then that comes with a reaction. This sequence of events happen very fast, and so we often feel that sometimes we may react to things quite quickly, and we feel that it just happened. And to highlight the point, and that it's an interpretation, is that you'll have two people in the same meeting, and the manager maybe say the same thing in regards to the work that they've worked on together, and says that we need to basically improve this piece of work. Now, one person may take it as, okay, he's basically just wants to improve the quality of the work so that the client may exceed the client's expectations. The other person may take it as, he's not happy with our work, he's always critical about stuff that I produce or we produce. So the same thing, people can interpret it differently. And so that's why I'm saying that it's an interpretation. This interpretation feels like a fact because the mind, our first response isn't really a thinking response, it's a protective response. So protection from our competence being questioned, or looking incompetent, not wanting to be embarrassed, these types of things. And this is coming from in the past. Our mind is actually designed to basically respond to threats quickly. And in the past, this could have taken the form of danger, physical danger. But in the workplace, it's not. In the workplace, that physical danger is not really there. It's more of one of threat to competence and things like this. So this is to reassure you that you're normal. If this happens in terms of you feeling that this type of protective response, then it's not something that is abnormal. Think of it like this. A warning light comes up on your car dashboard, and it's a warning of some kind. It could be fuel or whatever it may be. Now, when that comes on your car dashboard, you don't smash the dashboard. It's something that's telling you to pay attention to something, and then think about it and then act on it. So that thinking about it is getting curious about why this light came on, what does it mean? Not immediately stop the car, jump out of the car, because that can cause real problems to you and to others. And now to the main point of the video. So the moment you actually have a choice of how you now will respond. So the key part here is not the trigger. The real leverage point is not the event, and it's not the interpretation. It's the bit between the trigger and the response, and hopefully not the reaction. And that's the time where you can actually have a choice to choose how you want to go about doing these things. So coming back to the example of the car, in the dashboard where the warning light comes on, if you immediately jump out of the car or stop, do an emergency stop, that's the reaction, and that's where you just immediately take an immediate reaction, right? But that trigger and the eventual response, we want to basically work on that piece, that small window where you can actually make a response that you've thought about, you're happy about, and that you later don't regret. So the key thing here is reacting versus responding. And how you do this? So the first thing is you don't immediately go to your thoughts as to why did he do this, what could he mean? Rather, first notice the body reaction. So the chest becoming tight, the shoulders are becoming more tight, the breathing becoming more faster. Notice the reaction of the body first. And then instead of jumping to conclusions as to he meant this or this is why he did this, move from certainty to becoming curious as to what else could be true. And then instead of immediately responding, pause before you respond. So even if it's like a 5-second pause or something like this, try and think about how you want to respond and then give your response. So that 5-second pause, and to expand this out further, up to a 5-second pause, however much you need, and then repeat back the question in your answer, and then give a response. And obviously it depends on the type of question that's being asked, right? So this window here, this allows you to respond rather than jump out of the car or an emergency stop. And hopefully, because it's giving you more time to respond, that response is going to be better than an instant reaction.